happening, guys? This is Bharat Nagpal for iGaming.in, and today we're going to be comparing the new or the next generation Motorola Moto G with the Xiaomi Mi 3. Now, both of these devices technically in the same price bracket, but they are really different in terms of the specifications they offer and in terms of the companies that they come from. Let's start off with the new generation Motorola Moto G. So this is Motorola's next generation of Moto G, which was a really popular device in India as well as overseas. The Moto G essentially set a foot forward in terms of bringing in cheap Android devices with good build quality and great hardware. The Moto G2 essentially aims to do just that, but not a lot has changed. So one of the biggest differences is the new larger 5-inch display, which retains the same resolution of 1280 by 720 pixels, giving it a total of 294 pixels per inch, therefore lowering your pixel per inch pixel density. You also get a micro SD card storage and a larger 8 megapixel camera, which are essentially the three big things that Motorola has added onto the Moto G. The Xiaomi Mi 3, recently launched in India as well, has been going through a tough time while on sale in India. It's only available through the shopping website Flipkart, and only those who are patient enough to stand in line can acquire one. One of the best set of features is the fact that it has an quad-core Snapdragon 800 processor and the fact that it's priced under 14,000 rupees, which makes it an excellent purchase device. Let's start off with build qualities and we'll compare both of these devices. So the Motorola Moto G2, or the second generation of Moto G, is essentially the same sort of build quality. You definitely get a larger device because of the large size of the screen, but in terms of the build and the finish, it's almost identical to the first generation. Motorola has also moved the main speaker to the front of the device at the bottom over here next to the microphone, giving it this additional difference of design, almost following in lines with recently launched Motorola Moto E. The Xiaomi Mi 3 is also completely made out of plastic, but it has this aluminum finish back panel. One of the most coveted devices. It's got this really nice cylindrical sort of design which lays flat on the table but has these rounded edges on either side. The buttons are really nice as well. You get metallic buttons. Overall build quality is nice, but some people have had issues with the SIM card tray as well as some of the accessories that you get inside the box. The one downside of the Mi 3's design is the fact that the glass sits directly on top of the phone, so it's much more prone to damage versus the glass on the Moto G2. The Moto G2 also comes with Corning Gorilla Glass 3, just like the Xiaomi Mi 3. If we talk about displays over here real quick, the Motorola Moto G2 comes with a 5-inch 1280 by 720p display, which is an IPS LCD display. The Xiaomi Mi 3 comes with a 5-inch 1920 by 1080 pixel display, which is a full HD display and is also an IPS LCD display. Now, both these displays are fantastic, but Xiaomi definitely gets a one-up because of the quality of the display as well as the fact that you have a higher resolution in the same price bracket in the same size. So you definitely get more resolution and more pixels. The front-facing camera on the Xiaomi Mi 3 is a 5 megapixel camera, which is capable of HD video, whereas the front-facing camera on the Moto G2 is 2 megapixel and can only do VGA video. The Moto G2 also is thicker than the Xiaomi Mi 3 in its build and design, and it sits higher than the Xiaomi Mi 3 when you lay it flat on a table. On the inside of the new Moto G2 is the quad-core Snapdragon 400 chipset, which is clocked at 1.2 GHz. You also get the Adreno 305 GPU. The Xiaomi Mi 3 has a quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 chipset with the Adreno 330 GPU, therefore definitely giving it a much higher edge in terms of the internal hardware, in terms of performance capabilities on the device. The one excellent thing about the Moto G2 is the availability of Android updates and the fact that you get a completely stock Android experience on the device. Day-to-day usage as well as updates from the company for the next generation of Android are almost guaranteed and are going to be really quick. Whereas on the Xiaomi Mi 3 you get MIUI, which has mixed responses from the public. You are not too sure if you're going to get quick updates for the next generation of Android, and it's not as fluid as a stock Android experience would be. You do get a bunch of cool features or add-ons that Xiaomi has added into the overall user interface, like a RAM clearing application as well as themes and customizations that you can do to the device, but it definitely hinders performance a little bit when you compare it to that on the Moto G. All that being said, the Xiaomi Mi 3 does have the added advantage of the extra processing power that it has on the inside. If we talk about RAM, the Moto G2 comes with 1 GB of RAM, whereas the Xiaomi Mi 3 comes with 2 GB of RAM, which definitely puts it in the edge, again, leading with the fact that you have always upwards of 1 GB of RAM available to the user. So while we ran benchmarks on the Moto G2, we found that the score was pretty disappointing when compared to many of the other devices in the price bracket, including the Xiaomi Mi 3. The Moto G2 got only a 17,999, whereas the Xiaomi Mi 3 gets a much higher score, almost competing with flagships. Some people have even managed to get scores beating most of the flagships in the market, depending on how you've been using your device. The phone that I'm holding in my hand scores 40,758, which according to Antutu also is amazing. So you get almost a double, or actually more than double, in terms of a benchmark score chart. The cameras on the back of the devices have a lot to say as well. Whereas the Xiaomi Mi 3 has excellent picture taking capabilities, the new camera on the Moto G2 is no less. Camera on the Xiaomi Mi 3 is a 13 megapixel camera, therefore definitely giving it a higher edge in terms of megapixel count, and you also get a better dual LED flash. However, we've seen that images in low light are slightly grainy when compared to those from the Moto G2, and the overall experience of taking images is slightly better on the Moto G than on the Xiaomi Mi 3. You get better color saturation, better contrast ratio, and overall sharper images on the Moto G. A couple of things to note. Motorola has a set list of service centers in the country which are available in almost all parts of the country, so you definitely not have issues with service or warranty related problems. Whereas Xiaomi has a limited number of service centers, upwards only of 35, where after the Flipkart warranty runs out, you'll have a really tough time getting warranty. Xiaomi accessories are also difficult to be found in the market. People have also complained about the fact that some parts of the device itself, along with the accessories that come in the box, have not been of great quality. We ourselves have not faced this issue, but there are some limitations in terms of how and when you'll be able to get service. Another downside when compared to the Moto G for the Xiaomi Mi 3 is the fact that this device only holds a single SIM card, whereas the new generation Moto G comes with a dual SIM card capabilities, and it comes with 16 GB storage just like the Xiaomi Mi 3, but you also get micro SD card expandability, which the Xiaomi Mi 3 does not have. Therefore, the Moto G2 definitely gets a big up in terms of storage and capability, and the fact that you can carry 2 SIM cards at the same time, accepting phone calls on both. While our final conclusion is sort of mixed, we are tied between the Xiaomi Mi 3 and the Moto G2. Both of these are excellent devices, and with their own respective things are really nice and have found the right set of audiences in both sectors. The Moto G2 is a fantastic addition or an improvement to the original Moto G. However, the company has not changed a lot, and that leaves us slightly disappointed. We would have liked a bump in the processing capabilities as well as on the front camera department, whereas they have improved the rear camera as well as made the screen larger, which helps us a lot. Also, the addition of the micro SD card is a big thumbs up. The Xiaomi Mi 3 wins in all aspects of hardware. You get a better processor, better cameras, better front camera, and a better display, along with a larger battery and overall nicer or sturdier form factor. But there is that problem of service. You only get 1 SIM card and you don't get expandable storage, which is a big problem as well. So at the end of it, it comes down to who decides what, and according to the current situation, the Mi 3 is not available and the Moto G2 is readily available on Flipkart, so the decision becomes slightly easier. This has been Bharat Nagpal for iGyan.in. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you read the full comparison on iGyan.in, catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/iGyan, youtube.com/iGyanTV.